Welcome, early AM, where I'm at recording this video. Bill Gates pledges his remaining fortune to the Gates Foundation, which will close in 20 years. All right. And the Gates Foundation, our global health division, aims to reduce inequities in health by developing new tools and strategies to reduce the burden of infectious disease and the leading cause of child mortality in developing countries. Blah, 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 blah. Sounds like a front to me. And Bill Gates, one of the founders of Microsoft Corporation. Microsoft Corporation is an American multinational corporation in technology conglomerate headquartered in Redmond, Washington. All right. And this is William Henry Gates III, American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and computer programmer. Again, one of the founders of Microsoft, which was founded in 1975 with Paul Allen. Gates is a leader in the personal computer software industry and a pioneer of the 1970s and 1980s microcomputer revolution. He dropped out of Harvard to pursue a career in technology. Gates is known for his business strategies and his innovation, which helped Microsoft become the world's largest software company. So, pledging his remaining fortune to the Gates Foundation, which will close in 20 years, it just sounds like a shady story, right? And we'll hit one of these news clips here. Like the thumbnail there. Oops, let me go the right way. Let me fix that. So let me show you this real quick and let me go to the right video. And let me try not to give away all the slides just yet. There you go. Let's play this.
Bill Gates says he will donate 99% of his tech fortune to the Gates Foundation. Today, he estimates his wealth to be $108 billion. It's one of the largest commitments in the history of U.S. philanthropy when adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, the foundation work has been way more impactful than I expected, and great joy to work with the people there and our partners. We've decided that we'll take all the resources, both in the foundation and what I have that will be given to the foundation, and spend that over the next 20 years.
Gates started the foundation in 2000 with his now ex-wife, Melinda French Gates. Over the last 25 years, they've funded vaccines, treatment for malnutrition, and spent a lot of money trying to eradicate.
And Melinda, the ex-wife or whatever, she's a shady-looking character. Right here, the questionable features from the ex-wife here. No offense or anything, looks very masculine.
Vaccines, treatment for malnutrition, and spent a lot of money trying to eradicate polio. The foundation has become a powerful actor in the field of global health, but its influence has also drawn criticism.
I spend the money I put into the foundation is me. It's not, 500 people, writing reports and things like that. I pick childhood death. Is that a bad thing? It's not an important cause. People are, can criticize it.
I do think the Gates Foundation played a catalytic role putting together coalitions like the Gavi Vaccine Alliance, building incentives that actually bring in the private sector at scale.
The next 20 years could be more challenging for the foundation. Other major donors, including the US, have cut funding for global health.
The need, of course, is far greater than what we can do, but we'll be showing that we're doing the most we can and give a lot of predictability to the field by having this, we'll be here all of those 20 years, but not thereafter.
All right, so I'm kind of getting the vibe he's kind of into like health, medicine, kind of putting out there kind of just like the betterment, people recovering from illnesses. Um so that's what I'm kind of gathering here, okay? And watch how this connects to some other things by the numbers, right, that are trending, okay? I think you'll find it amazing. So you see look at his name in the reduction cipher here. You see William Henry Gates the third. That's interesting how the third is 111 right there. Well, it's like I or LLL, however you want to look at it, but it looks like 111, right? William Gates, William Henry Gates the third. Look at 111, right? In reduction, so 111, and then look right below, you kind of see like a 111 there. But check this out. So his full name, William Henry Gates the third, you get 111. I just did this breakdown and it had 111s in it. Okay, evacuation. Fire alarm causes brief evacuation after Knicks game 2 win over the Celtics NBA playoffs. Notice evacuation, notice New York both have that same 111 trending at the same time by the numbers. And it comes together uh, by more than the numbers, and it's by the language, and I'll show you here shortly. You also get William Henry Gates the third. Look at the 1, 2, 3, and 312 in those two ciphers, and there's only 4 base ciphers I use. Look at the 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2. This just hit with Rite Aid, and this story, what customers can expect as Rite Aid closes or sells all its drugstores. That's interesting because Gates into health, kind of like into medicine, right? And look how this hits by the numbers. 1, 2, 3 with Rite Aid. The first store was called Thrifty Discount Center. You also get 1, 2, 3. And these are trending stories on this channel. I just did these videos, right? So you see Rite Aid 1, 2, 3, Thrifty Discount Center 1, 2, 3. You see the 312 as well, just like 312, 1, 2, 3 with William Henry Gates III. And look at these articles here with Bill Gates and vaccines, and you heard him speaking there as well. Unless by the time you're watching this, I had to edit it out because we got no volume. But look, Bill Gates synced up with these vaccines. Look at these stories with Bill Gates and vaccines here. Backlash. They're a miracle. It's mind blowing. You see these stories? And vaccines are a type of medicine. They're tested and approved like any drug with the Food and Drug Administration. And then his numbers sync up with Rite Aid and this story, what customers can expect as Rite Aid closes or sells all its drugstores. You see that? Isn't that interesting? Connected by the numbers and by medicine. Look at that. And evacuation with that 111 connection. Evacuation, kind of like vaccines. How about that? This stuff is all with the language. Talk about exposing these stories, right? Evacuation, fire alarm causes brief evacuation, the 111 connection. Evacuation, vaccines, medicine. Bill Gates speaking on medicine. So look at how you see all these stories connect by the numbers. And let me show you I didn't have his full name in there, but you see his full name is right over here on the right. William Henry Gates the third. You see it right there. Wow, I mean, that's amazing. Bill Gates announces plans. Oh, is he actually closing? Oh, yeah, he's closing the Gates Foundation in 20 years, right? And then here's our article, remaining fortune to go to the Gates Foundation, which will close in 20 years. So I guess if you're talking we're in 2025, then I guess you add 20 and you get 2045. Yeah, and they state that right there in our article. So, you see how this stuff is connected by the numbers, and sometimes it'll just connect by the numbers and then the story doesn't really match up. But that's amazing, right? Vaccines, evacuation, he's synced up with medicine, vaccines, and then he's synced up with this drugstore that may close or sell Rite Aid, right? And as I think it's like the second time that they're filing for bankruptcy, chapter 11. It's either one or two times. I can't quite remember, but you see the numbers hit. And check this out. More connections with kind of like health, emergency. Look at Bill Gates right here, 156 in the reverse cipher, and the 156th prime number is 911, which is kind of for emergency, right? And I just did this Knicks breakdown, and the Knicks pulled off the victory, scoring 91 points, which is like 911. And you see right there that connection I made in that breakdown. Okay. And there was some 61s, there were some 160s in that breakdown as well. Game 2 equals 19. You get that 1 and the 9. But with the 61s, 160s that were in that breakdown, you flip those 6s and you get that 1 and the 9 again. And they played the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics equals 156 as well, like Bill Gates. Look at this. And Boston fell by 1 point in that game to the Knicks. Look at Boston Celtics has that 156, and you get Boston B like Bill. Okay, Boston Celtics 156, Bill Gates 156. How amazing is that? And it's just by the language. And again, you get that 156, which the 156 prime number is 911, symbolizing, emergency. Look at this article. His announcement Thursday signals both a promise of sustained support to those causes, particularly global health, right? And education in the U.S., and an eventual end to the foundation's immense worldwide influence. Look at this. The article hits on the 128th day of the year. He was born October 28th, 1028. 1028 is like 128. You drop the 0 with numerology rules. But, I mean, if you want, just look at it with the 0. I don't care. 1028 is like 128. Isn't that amazing? Gates says spending down his fortune will help save and improve many lives now, which will have positive ripple effects well beyond the foundation's closure. It also makes it more likely that his intentions are honored. Look at his upcoming birthday, October 28th, the 301st day of the year. If you reverse 301, you get 103. William Gates III. 103. You see that? 301, 103. You see his birthday factoring in here. You see the date that of this announcement syncing up with the birthday. You see his name in the language syncing up with medicine, health, evacuation, vaccines. You see the 111. You see the 123, 312. So just simply amazing. Even Gates equals 52, and that's in the ordinal ABC 123 cipher. You see the chart? 52 with Gates. Article hits 5 months, 20 days before his birthday. 5 months, 20 days is like 52. Again, Gates equals 52. Flip the 52, you get 25. We are in the year 2025, right? And government does also equal 52. Just to put that out there, government equals 52, right? Not saying he's necessarily like this high power figure in the government or anything, but just to put that out there. Also, president and White House, just to put that out there, right? So I've been hitting on Terry Nichols lately. One of the men, they say, one of the masterminds behind the OKC bombing with Timothy McVeigh. Terry Nichols. Also, I just did the Tyree Nichols breakdown as 3 of the officers were acquitted in the beating of the black man. They tell you in the story, the black man, right? So that's kind of how I guess how I'm conditioned to report that story. But Terry Nichols beaten by officers a few years back, and now we're getting the trending story with 3 of the officers acquitted. But Tyree Nichols, like Terry Nichols, and I connected that in that story. But look at, and Nichols, Terry Nichols, like Knicks, right? Like New York Knicks. I also brought that up in that breakdown. So you see how it all comes together. But notice Terry Nichols, born in 55, like a nickel is 5, right? Bill Gates, also born in 55. Just this past Monday was 5/5. Remember, Michael Jordan came out of retirement, scored 55 points against the Knicks. Memorable game. It wasn't like the immediate game. I think it was like a few games later. But memorable nonetheless. So I'm telling you, this 55 hits with New York stories, basically. Look at Terry Nichols, 55. Bill Gates, born in 55. This last Monday was 5/5. I've also been connecting Tony Siragusa and the Baltimore Ravens. There's been a lot of SA stories involving the Ravens lately. Ray Lewis's birthday is right around the corner. They've had some questionable deaths associated with the team in the past. Tony Siragusa was one of them. He died at age 55. I think it was Jalen Ferguson, another Ravens player, and they died within a day of each other. If I'm not mistaken, you can go check that out if you want. But this character, his energy has been popping up recently as well. with a lot of those Raven stories. They just released their kicker because of inappropriate accusations, inappropriate behavior. He's had some massage therapists come out and I guess go against him. But that would be the kicker of the Ravens, Justin Tucker, who was released. And they just drafted a guy who has sexual assault allegations as well. I mentioned Ray Lewis's birthday right around the corner. Shannon Sharp with similar allegations. He used to be a member of the Ravens. But my point being, this 55 and this 55 energy that's been popping up, God and Satan in the code do equal 55 as well. So there may be more to that. But yeah, all of these 55s have been hitting lately. There's probably a couple more I just forgot. Okay, so Bill Gates pledges his remaining fortune to the Gates Foundation, which will close in 20 years. We'll play another video. And close in 20 years. And then again, you see the 5 months, 20 days before his birthday, this story hits. So you get the 20 right there. There might be some more 20s as well. Maybe we'll hit on a few things after we play this video.
My commitment to put virtually all my wealth into the foundation.
Bill Gates plans to give, quote, virtually all his money away and end the Gates Foundation in 20 years. Bill and Melinda French Gates created the foundation in 2000 and planned for the organization to continue.
Founded in the organization created in 2000, and then they say in 20 years it will shut down or whatever.
Continue its work for several decades after they die. One of the world's largest philanthropies, the Gates Foundation centers on global health and equity initiatives. Gates announced he now plans to distribute all his wealth, around $200 billion he estimates, in the next
$200 billion in 20 years. And the organization created in 2000. And remember, that was game 2 with the New York Knicks. With that evacuation connection with vaccines that I connected here.
20 years before closing the foundation in 2045.
I'll be 90 by the time it's all given away, and innovation will
90, the 90 hit huge in the Knicks breakdown. It was exactly 9 weeks, 0 days from Josh Hart's birthday, who was the leading scorer in that game. 9 week, 0 days, like 90 from his birthday to that game was a span of 9 weeks, 0 days. And now Bill Gates hits with the 90 here.
by the time it's all given away, and innovation will make a huge difference here. And so I think, my optimism is well justified, despite an incredible emergency that we're living through right now.
And he even mentions emergency there. He even mentions emergency, and remember his name, 156 prime 911. Right there. So he syncs up with all these emergency stories, even with that 911 right there. You see that? Remember, he's out of Seattle, right? And they got the Space Needle as well. Okay, and if you look at the new WTC, the One World Trade, it kind of looks like it has a needle on top, right? And I don't mean to speak too much on that. Even William equals 110, like 11. And you get William Henry Gates the third, 111. And the third, 3111 there. You see with the name. Evacuation, New York, 111. That's amazing. So they said the organization founded in 2000. They said his fortune worth 20 billion, I think is what they said. And in 20 years, the Gates Foundation will close. So that's a lot of 20s right there as well. So I hope the volume played on those videos, as you know, we can kind of hear Bill Gates speak. There's a lot of negative there is a lot of negative talk about this character for sure. But when you kind of read the story and such, seems like there could be more celebrities out there that we could hate on as far as their characters, right? So I don't know. That's just me from what I hear from the character here. Maybe people hate on him because of he has a lot of money. I get a lot of Donald Trump vibes with this character. I know like Trump known for money as well. We're hitting on 20s in this breakdown. T is the 20th letter of the alphabet. With Trump as well. And this 520 Gates equals 52. I mentioned President, White House, and government equal 52. Also, even Minnesota equals 52. Minnesota, the Twin Cities. And remember, we had the New York connection here with these two structures that were called the Twins. Remember that? With that incident in 2001. Okay, and that was 1 year after the Gates Foundation was created, according to that video. So look how all this stuff comes together. Let's just go on the fly real quick and see if we can hit a couple of things in the calculator here. If not, it's all good. But it's okay to go to the calculator and just we'll put in Microsoft, like co-founder of Microsoft. I'm not seeing anything. That's almost 119, but I say almost. And remember, we had 128 connect with the story, the 128th day of the year. Almost 128, but not quite. Let's just click Microsoft to see if any of it matches here. It syncs up with that Knicks Celtics story that we're connecting. With Jason Tatum, Jalen Brunson, and Celtics. Nothing major though. Microsoft, we could put like money right there. I don't see anything major there. I think it was a 63-day span. I mentioned 9 weeks, 0 days, and how that connected from Josh Hart's birthday. Ooh, Josh Hart was the star of that Knicks game. He had 23 points. He was the leading scorer out of both teams in that win versus the Celtics. And his last name is Hart. Hart kind of relates to health, and health, medicine, vaccines, all connected here. That fire alarm, 911, all of these connections. Josh Hart, like health. Damn, I forgot to mention that in that breakdown. Josh Hart with the Knicks, and Hart kind of relates to emergency. But anyways, it was a 9-week span from his birthday to that Knicks game too. And 9 weeks was the same as 63 days. So you see money equals 63 here. Let's put maybe cash right here. And I'll just see if any of these connect to this Gates story. Just a few things on the fly here. Look at that. Money equals 63 like Gates Foundation. And that was a alarm that went off during the post-game interviews in that Knicks Celtics game. Alarm, you see 18 like money, but look at money 63 like Gates Foundation. Cash 77 like William Gates III as well. Okay, so just a few little connections there on the side. I don't know, did I put fortune? Because they give us the word fortune in the title. Fortune syncs up as well. Fortune syncs up as well. You see Josh Hart's birthday, March 6th, who, like I said, he was the leading point getter in that Knicks game that we're connecting here by the numbers. His birthday is 3/6. And Josh Hart equals 3/6. And Hart is like health, but that's how he spells it right there. And you see the 99. Look how that syncs up. Ooh, and the Gates Foundation closes in 2045. Josh Hart has the 45 right there. Look at Josh Hart, 99 like fortune. Hart obviously like health. 99 and 36. Look at that. And we had another 45 in that breakdown. Alarm equaled 45 as well. So look at how that hits. Heart like health. Medicine. Bill Gates. You get the 911 connection. That's awesome right there. Evacuation in that game. Vaccines are a type of medicine. Rite Aid, closing or selling. You know, all its drugstores. So that's super nice. And something else, it may not hit, but if you're doing decodes, it's okay to go to the calculator and try to find connections. But this starts with the language. So you can do Kevin Gates. You can do Kevin Gates, something like that. And look at Kevin Gates has the 5th day of the 2nd month birthday, and he is age 39. So Kevin Gates with the same last name, the 5th day of the 2nd month birthday. Remember, Gates equals 52. And it was 5 months, 20 days before Gates' birthday. Bill Gates, though, that this story hit. You see that? So this connects with Kevin Gates as well, just by the name. And Kevin Gates is age 39. Look at this. New York 39, evacuation 39. So I'm just showing you how all of this stuff comes together here. You see that? That's on the fly too. It may not connect, but Bill Gates kind of looks like Woody Allen. I get Woody Allen vibes. And again, that it may not hit. He just kind of looks like Woody Allen. And I don't really see anything that really hits there. But that it's interesting. There may be something to that. But here's Woody Allen here. Where I'm kind of getting Bill Gates vibes. So there may be similar. Does Woody Allen look like Terry Lynn Nichols here, synced up with the OKC bombing? Remember I connected that earlier, and that OKC bombing kind of connects with that 9/11 date in New York in 2001 with the two tragedies. Does he look like Terry Lynn Nichols right there, Woody Allen? And Woody Allen looks like Bill Gates? Let's see. He might possibly. There's Terry Lynn Nichols right there. Maybe it's just the glasses. It might just be the glasses. But okay, so that's going to be the breakdown. And I think that was a nice breakdown. I see a lot of numbers here that connected in that Knicks breakdown. There's the 160 right there. That hit in the breakdown with the Knicks Celtics game. All right, and they're just going to give us a lot of different paragraphs here, which I don't feel like we need to go over at this point. And again, you see his wife looking really suspect right there. And I don't normally like to give my opinion on things like that, but his wife looks very, very suspect. She's age 60. That 60 hit in that breakdown with the Knicks Celtics. 60 was connected to Jason Tatum's name as well. I see she's got the August 15th birthday there. Melinda French Gates, but this is a very suspect looking character right here. If you just kind of look at the facial structure here. For sure. Okay, Melinda French Gates, that's his former wife. Right? So yeah, just like I said, I rarely give my opinion, but that'll be my opinion on her. So amazing. So absolutely amazing. And there's gonna be some more connections, obviously, but I feel like I did a good job there showing these other trending stories that connected, even pulling up the rapper Kevin Gates and showing that connection as well. And we're given all of these stories by some kind of code. It kind of keeps everything the same, right? It kind of balances throughout the year. We get certain stories at certain times of the year. It keeps the energy balanced, keeps people in control, keeps us distracted. And this is the world stage, okay? Bill Gates pledges his remaining fortune to the Gates Foundation, which will close in 20 years. Shout out to y'all. Until next time.